that's way too easy to recast somebody.
I know, right?
That's Oh, hey guys, hello and welcome to another episode of Synonymous Photography. I'm your friendly neighborhood hookahologyst, and joining me once again is producer man Isaac.
What's going on, everybody?
He's back, guys. Scheduling conflicts aside, we almost recasted him like Wanda recasted Pietro here, but we decided not to.
Yep.
So, WandaVision Episode 5, a very special episode.
Very special episode indeed.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy because they're doing the 80s theme now. And even in the 80s, like if you watched old Saved by the Bell episodes, Family Matters, stuff like that, they even start every episode. This is a very special episode.
And they ended it with the anticlimactic ending like they do in every like sitcom show where someone shows up at the door and they're like, they say their name and then they just cut.
Exactly. So, WandaVision Episode 5. This is the longest episode so far. And I think they're just going to be 45 minutes long now.
You think so? I feel like this episode was short.
No, every other episode is like capping at 30 minutes. This is at like 42 minutes. Yeah, so this is about 40 minutes long.
Damn, it didn't feel like 40 minutes long.
It goes by really quickly. The pacing of it is actually really good.
Yeah.
It's not that hot.
Figured that.
I just wanted to double check and not burn myself. So, yeah, so it is a lot faster. So we do get a lot of jumps between WandaVision and outside the Hex.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into all the fun theories and Easter eggs and everything else like that, let's go ahead and talk about pretty much scene by scene what kind of happened.
Yeah.
So we get the first before we get into everything, we have Wanda and Vision trying to handle their children.
Yep.
So that was fun. They're babies, and it comes to the promo commercial where the binkies shoot up. Vision went to go get the pacifiers, and he's using them as noise canceling headphones. Just having a little goofy time, and then they can't figure out how to get their kids to stop. I mean, no new parents know how to get their children to stop right away.
Right, especially when they were literally born like 3 minutes before.
Oh, I know, the whole episode before. So Agnes, aka Agatha Harkness, pretty sure she has something to do with this, comes in and helps out, and Vision's like, nope, we're not doing this, whatever. And this is where she breaks character. This is because a lot of these old shows, especially the old sitcoms, were filmed in front of a studio audience.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure things like that happened on set. Like, do you want me to take it from the top, or?
And then you notice that Vision notices exactly what she just said, and Wanda's trying to play it off.
I don't know. She's just trying to help. So Vision is getting more aware each episode. I think like every episode he gets a couple more things that aren't really there because he's now seen it. He's never seen the breaks of reality.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't see Geraldine get launched out of the living room by Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of plays out, and the kids magically go from infants to 5 years old.
Yeah, to 5, 6 years old. Yeah.
And then they cut into WandaVision. It's funny because they have like all these old sitcom like stylings
of like the photos of them as children as they get older with their kids type of style. A lot like Full House.
Yeah, and then they had creepy Vision. That was disturbing. Baby Vision scares me. That's Nightmare Fuel. I didn't want to sleep that night.
Baby Vision looks like the Grinch.
The Grinch looked better.
Yeah, you're right. Really bad Photoshop.
Yo, dude, it was bad, dude. It was scary. Like when he got older, and then the pictures with the kids, you can see he's getting aggressively more unhappy, and it's very apparent in this episode too as it continues.
Yes.
So once they go through the intro, after the intro, they jump into outside of Westview, also known as the Hex, as they're calling it, as the Hex. We all seen the hexagon patterns everywhere.
Yeah.
So they're now seeing that is a hex inside there. And then we get a briefing of Monica's time in there.
Yeah.
Monica's time in there, and she's now like saying, the director thinks that she's an active terrorist, but of course he's hiding something.
You can tell he's hiding something.
Yeah, I think he has something to do with it. He didn't just send her there, right? He knew what was going on.
Yeah. Because
Vision did not want to be part of want to be a weapon after he died. I mean, which is understandable. You're Ultron, Jarvis, and the Mind Stone, you don't want to be used as a weapon when you die, right?
Yeah.
If you die.
Yeah.
So, of course it makes sense, but he's torn apart, and Wanda... How is it that Wanda just magically knew where he was?
That's a good question. I wonder the same thing, but I guess for plot reasons, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'm pretty sure Agatha had... Or she had some help trying to figure this out. There's somebody else, like, pulling the strings here. Mm-hmm. It's not just Wanda. So, and then we're seeing that how she just... no one stopped her in a building filled with sword agents. No one stopped her.
Well, you see how powerful she is, and it was a perfect example of what we see later on.
Yeah, but still, like, you can still tase her. They deal with extra element of surprise. She walked right through the doors in a red outfit. How in the fuck you gonna tell me that?
I'm just saying.
Element of surprise, my ass. And then, like, I love the interaction with Jimmy, like, giving her backstory. Like, she doesn't have a funny nickname. We all know she's the Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
But they never mention it. They never bring it up. Because they have Steve Rogers as Captain America, Tony Stark as Iron Man. You know,
but they never acknowledge the fact that that's her name, and they probably will eventually.
They're probably going to now because she was never the Scarlet Witch. I think it was because of how Marvel didn't have the rights. They had the rights to the characters Wanda Maximoff, but not Scarlet Witch because she's technically a mutant.
They can now.
I think now they're going to refer to her as it because she's now displaying more of her mutant abilities.
I mean, they call her the Scarlet Witch outside of the shows.
Exactly, but they never say it inside the MCU.
Yeah, so looking forward to that.
I can't wait because we're going to get her, I think next episode we're going to get her Halloween costume. We'll see. I think that might be I think I may have seen a promo where they're doing that next. It's going to be in the 90s and they're going to do that. Mm-hmm. So... After that, they break back into WandaVision, and you see that Tommy and Billy have a puppy that they magically named Sparky, and now Vision's even noticing a little bit more of what's going on.
Yes. Because
Agnes comes in with a doghouse magically. He's like, what?
Yeah,
she comes in with exactly what
right
we
on
need.
cue,
Exactly.
Like she's following the script.
So she sees that, and they're trying to figure everything out. He's now piecing things together slowly.
Yes.
He's not fully aware of what's happening in Westview, but he knows that something's wrong. And every time he brings it up to Wanda, something happens.
And that's because Wanda's starting to slip.
Oh yeah, dude. Like when she starts using her powers more freely, it's starting to become more and more apparent that she has less control over what's going on. Yeah. And then when they go back and try to figure it out, because they now realize we got the answer we all wanted. Why is it that the drone got turned into a helicopter? Because Wanda's rewriting everything. Because Geraldine's clothes were part of Monica's Kevlar suit. So she pulls a whole Peggy Carter, starts busting open a gun and blasting it. Yeah. So she's now seeing that we can now see everything. She can do whatever she wants because she's rewriting reality.
Yeah. And is it just in that hex? Like in that area? Or?
As of right now, it is just the hex that we see it.
Yeah.
It's not apparent that we're gonna get she can do everything that she normally can. I think once WandaVision is done, we're gonna see the full scope of her powers. And even Agatha Harkness was the reason why she acknowledged her chaos magic. So it could be that she went to Agatha for help to kind of bring back Vision how he is, because he was in pieces.
Yeah. They
reanimated him somehow. And we see in episode 4 how ghastly he looks. He looks creepy. Have you seen it, right? With the missing stone. I'm like, oh god.
He just looks like a zombie.
Yeah. So when we're starting to figure all that out too, we have this fun little interaction with Monica and Captain Marvel. He's like, Wanda's never displayed that kind of ability. Well, she could have stopped Thanos. No one else came close. Well,
And it's weird to see her not defending Captain Marvel. So something went wrong here. I noticed.
Dude, she was real resentful. You can hear it.
Yeah.
And I know a little thing about resenting people. That's definitely what happened. She was resentful of Captain Marvel.
She's like,
for something.
didn't even want to talk about Captain Marvel.
She's like, yeah, I mean, I guess. We're not talking about one person given, powers from the Tesseract. We're talking about the Mind Stone. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So I wonder what that's all about.
We're going to get an answer either in this or in Captain Marvel 2. But you can understand her kind of feeling that, though. Like, Lieutenant Danger. Oh, what is it? Lieutenant Trouble, right? Lieutenant Trouble was like Monica was that's Aunt Carol, right? And then she just disappeared.
Yeah.
And then after the snap, she was gone. So she could be resentful, like, oh, she knew my mom was dying of cancer and did nothing. With all this help, all this space travel, you couldn't figure a cure for cancer, which I think out in space, they probably have a cure for cancer.
Right.
I'm pretty fucking sure.
There's a lot of things that probably went down in that time frame.
And yeah, exactly. There's a lot of stuff that could have happened, why she hates her. So, I mean, it could be, I wouldn't say hate, but like why she feels a certain way.
Resentment.
Exactly. So this is the creepiest part of the entire episode, where they now feel like, what happens if we send something that doesn't need alteration? So they think of the internet. So they finally get at Vision's job, Computers Incorporated, or whatever his computer systems incorporated, wherever he works. He gets the email, and then everyone in unison, just like, for the children, right? They start reading the Westview phenomenon, or what do they call it? The Maximoff
effect.
Maximoff effect, or whatever it is. And Vision's like, what the hell is happening? He frees Norm from his mind control, and he feels Wanda's pain, right? And he doesn't specifically say stop Wanda, stop her.
That's a foreshadowing moment.
Yeah, so we don't know who the real villain is. So obviously Wanda is played off to be the villain.
I feel like someone like you said, Agatha is manipulating Wanda at the same time, and making her feel more emotion. Basically,
she's grieving, and even Monica says, like, I can feel her grief. Like, I heard her in my head. But there's been a lot of talk of like who's the real like villain here? Who we gonna get to be the main antagonist? A lot of people are saying Mephisto, which makes sense because Tommy and Billy are pieces of Mephisto and were taken away from Wanda, and then she brings them back, I think, in House of M.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. But it's that Agatha obviously refers to her husband Ralph all the time, and Agatha is a believer of Mephisto, so it could be that she's helping him out.
Yeah.
Right. So them two together could be the problem.
Yeah, like a Titans, the mom Trigon type of thing.
Yep. The mom and Trigon.
Yeah, the mom and Trigon.
Okay, DC, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. We're talking about Marvel.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It's the same effect of like the
You know what? Like, and a side note, I watched Titans. I was very disappointed with Trigon.
We were only there for like an episode.
Half an episode, and even then, like, he wasn't even that threatening. And it was the mom and Trigon, right? So yeah, I see what you're saying. Like,
it's like a whole Trigon effect, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that was kind of lame.
Yeah.
For how they did that. But then they send the drone in.
Yeah.
And this is how scary Wanda is. Like, after that, like, the drone tries to see, and this is where the reality starts to break a little bit too, because Tommy and Billy aren't residents of Westview. They see things in real time. I need to crack my neck. So he's like, it's Saturday. Why is Dad at work? It's Monday. No, it's Saturday. So she explains that he had to go to work. He's like, and then the drone comes in, and they jump. Obviously, on the show, they cut it away so it's not in frame, but they just see that there's something going on.
Yeah.
Then Wanda comes out. If it was Wanda, right? It could be, like you said, it could be someone else. Mephisto, maybe using his powers to look like Wanda and mimic her powers.
Yeah. To
throw the drone out, because apparently the drone was armed by the director.
Yeah.
And no one else knew about that, like, especially. And then she turns all the guns on the director. He's like, you took a whole town hostage. I'm not the one pointing guns, director. Get out of my home. This is your only warning. I will fuck some shit up.
Yeah, she went straight beast mode.
Oh yeah, and she had her accent back. Because they've been slowly giving her away, and she had her villainous accent like she did in Age of Ultron.
Yeah. So
they made her look more badass.
Exactly. Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, yeah, her accent's back. It's there and it's not at the same time. It's like.
I think she forgot how to do it, so she's been like slowly trying to get rid of it. She's slowly starting to become American.
Like some of the words, and then she goes right back to having an American accent, or American, just sounding American. Yeah,
and she even had her accent a little bit when she talked about Pietro from episode 3.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, he was killed by all. She never mentioned the U word in Westview. That's the surefire way to get kicked out. Never mentioned Ultron. So I mean that was pretty. It was pretty intense, like how that came out. And then the end of the episode, Vision and Wanda are having their argument, and he's even noticing that it's not every day you get and bury your new dog, right? And he's like, well, only in Westview. He's like, why are there no children? What's going on? You can't control me like you do everyone else. And then that's when you get another like hint at how powerful she is. Oh, can't I? I'm like, oh shit. Wanda's about to get real, and she's trying to avoid this argument at all costs because she doesn't want to tell Vision that he's dead. And outside of Westview, he doesn't exist. So it gets very intense, and then when we all heard the doorbell ring for Pietro to come back, it's what's going on, because Vision doesn't remember anything past Westview. He doesn't remember getting killed. He doesn't remember being born. So he's scared, and he's just looking for answers.
He's like a baby.
Yeah, he's looking for answers, trying to figure it out, and he's seeing all this stuff go on. Like, Norm was in pain. He can't see his family, Wanda. What's going on? And then she's trying to explain, like, I don't know what's going on with the doorbell. Like, oh, I don't believe you. And Vision's a machine. He thinks of facts, figures, and statistics. Obviously, something is wrong.
Yeah.
He can sense it. He knows there's something wrong, but Wanda's not admitting it.
And then the doorbell rings.
Then the doorbell rings, and then we get Evan Peters as Peter, not Pietro, because she was like, Pietro. He's like, well, yeah. What do I got to do to get a hug around here? He's Uncle Jesse.
Basically, the Uncle Jesse.
Have mercy.
Dressed in the leather jacket and the freaking shirt.
Yeah, everything. I just wanted to play guitar. Elvis impersonator.
Right.
So it makes sense to have this Quicksilver compared to the MCU version, because obviously this is supposed to be linked to the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness. So whoever is doing this has abilities to go into the multiverse.
And before they even showed Pietro's face, they had him look a little bigger, and his hair
just like
a little different.
Just like Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Which Quicksilver is it going to be? Is it going to be Aaron Taylor Johnson? Is it going to be?
I was so like, I heard this and I was like, I thought it was going to be Quicksilver. I'm like, dude, you didn't see that coming. I wanted him to say that. It's like, oh wait, you didn't see this coming? I was like, but no, he's like, I was like low-key disappointed it wasn't the right Quicksilver. I'm like, fuck you, Marvel.
It's a Quicksilver.
It's a Quicksilver. Which goes back to, like I was saying, like, it could be the fact that they're just pulling some random Quicksilver out of the multiverse.
That's why when they said she recast Pietro, it's like...
Is it really recasting?
Is it really, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think they did it on purpose for the sake of the fact that, oh, you know, maybe...
I think it's Marvel's way of saying the X-Men are coming, but they're not here yet.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next.
Right.
And everyone's thinking that this is the big reveal for Marvel's at the end of WandaVision. I don't think so. I think that's way too easy.
Way too early too.
It's way too fucking easy.
Yeah.
Because the safe route would be to bring Doctor Strange, but we all know it's going to link to the Multiverse of Madness. What I'm thinking is that we're going to get Sir Ian McKellen or Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier or Magneto, or we'll get Michael Fassbender as Magneto, and oh my god, what's the actor's name?
For what?
For Professor Xavier.
Oh, James McAvoy.
James McAvoy. I think we might get them because it makes sense in this kind of sense, as we see, is that I think it's a smart play by using this Quicksilver, because in that X-Men franchise they go from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and when we see him, they're in the late 70s, early 80s, and that's when we really got we got this Quicksilver in the 80s, so it makes sense to have him there. So I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think they did it pretty smart. Although I did want to see Aaron Taylor Johnson. I wanted the Godzilla cast to come back. It took me a while to realize, I'm like, wait, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are in Godzilla.
Yeah.
And they were married. That was weird.
Right?
But
then again, in the comic book, you know.
Oh, the Ultimates, there was incest.
Yeah. So.
Also weird.
Also very weird.
Marvel did some weird things in the early 2000s. So, that's everything with WandaVision. But our next segment, so every week I like to post what we're going to have for WandaVision and what people's thoughts are. So we do got a couple of ideas of what's going to happen next. I don't want to see my theories. Only 2 people responded. So we're going to go with the first one because it's kind of funny. So predictions for the next little bit of WandaVision, and I quote, given to me by my brother because he's a jack. They go back in time to find the origin of the blunt, and they get high on acid trying to figure out what's some hippies. Fucking asshole. And then we have another one. This is a little bit more serious, and it's kind of plays with what we've been talking about.
I can't believe your brother wrote that though.
I could. Whoever's behind this is using other people to distract Wanda and Vision. So we notice that like every time there's a bigger discussion of what's really happening, that we have some kind of distraction. When Wanda and Vision are arguing about what Agnes just did, Tommy and Billy age themselves, right? And even in the episode, they can do that whenever the fuck they want. And it's kind of weird, like how they can do that. And when Wanda stops them, like, no, you can't, don't age yourself out of this at the age of 5. You know, when she lost her innocence with her family being bombed, like you have to experience this. Like you can fix death, right? And even Agnes is like, you can do that? No way. I think she was playing a character, but she knows they just reanimated Vision.
Yeah. Right.
So obviously she can. Like, no, you can't fix death, and she looks like the biggest hypocrite about it.
Yeah. So
I mean, whoever is doing this is using other people to distract Wanda and Vision from really finding out what's going on.
Right.
Because, like I said, it could be that they're using this. They're using Evan Peters' Quicksilver
as just another distraction.
As another distraction, because she's obviously grieving over her loss of her husband and the loss of her brother. And then loss of everybody, because I was saying this last episode, like she really has no one to lean on. Falcon's off with Bucky doing random things that we're gonna get what we see in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then we have Tony Stark who's gone. Steve Rogers is dead. Bruce never really connected with her, and we have
only one that can possibly connect with her is somewhere else. Hawkeye.
But Hawkeye's out doing everything he was going to be doing with Kate Bishop, so she has no one. And even Scott Lang, like, they only briefly talk to each other.
Yeah.
So not only is she alone, like, she is alone feeling all these things and no one can really ground her. Why she's going to extreme lengths to bring anything she can back to reality. So it really makes sense why they're going to be doing something like this. And whoever is behind the scenes is using whatever they can to keep Wanda tamed. Because the next 4 episodes, we're about to see what's really about to happen.
I think the next 4 episodes are going to be insane.
We're definitely going to be seeing what's going to happen next. Because we're going to get into the 90s next. And we're probably going to get a little bit more Fuller House, Saved by the Bell kind of antics going on. Then obviously we're going to get the Modern Family kind of feel. With the case of the Mondays, am I right? I can't stop seeing that. Like ever since I seen it, I just watch it. If I'm having a bad day at work, I just watch that little promo. I'm like, Mondays, am I right? It's gonna be funny. So I can't wait to see what happens next.
I hope they cut that part out just to piss you off.
I would be upset. I would be so mad. I'll quit the podcast. I don't know, that's a little extreme, but I'll quit. I'll just get someone else to play me.
Recast.
Can't recast this. I'm great. So what do you think is gonna happen next? Who do you think is, because they mentioned the astrophysicist who can go in there and get Monica back in there. Everyone, there's some talk about it gonna be Mr. Fantastic. So I don't know if they're really gonna, because we know the Fantastic Four are coming too. I don't think that's gonna be them.
That's too early.
Yeah, I think it's way too early. We're gonna get some. I want in the multiverse because we're gonna get the Spider-Verse pretty soon too.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that picture was real with Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. I saw a picture of both of them in their spider suits.
I think that was real.
I don't think so.
I know the picture with Tom Holland and his little brother. They're going in the same movie together.
Yeah.
Doing God knows what.
Spider-Man things.
Ben Reilly.
Oh my God, yes. But we're gonna see what's gonna happen. I think they're gonna bring in the X-Men. They're gonna bring some version of the X-Men. Now I don't know if they're gonna bring the 2000s version and bring Hugh Jackman back. Although I don't think, dude, if they brought Hugh Jackman back, that'd be kind of cool. But I think he's done playing Wolverine. You do a character for 17 years, like he ran his course after Logan.
Keep it at Logan, and we'll call it.
Yeah, and I'll be perfectly fine with that. If they recast him, it's time.
You don't need to have Wolverine.
You don't, but he's one of the more stable characters. Like, he made the X-Men franchise for what it is.
Yes, I know.
So, I mean, it makes sense if they did, but I know they won't. But they're going to either bring back the more up-to-date X-Men, which I wouldn't be mad about, because I love Michael Fassbender and everybody in that franchise.
All you really need is the first-class X-Men.
Exactly. But we're never going to get Mystique back.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, she really did kind of piss me off at the last 3 movies. Like, you can tell Jennifer Lawrence did not want to play Mystique anymore.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you use the first-class X-Men, you know.
Exactly.
Scott, Jean, E. Iceman.
Iceman's not in them.
I thought it was in the first class. Could have swore he was in the first class.
Mm-mm.
The very first, not the movie first class, the actual first
class.
No.
Yes, yes, he's in the first class of X-Men.
Yeah, the first class of
X-Men. But
X-Men.
I think we might get a mix of both.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said I was talking about the movie first class. I'm talking about the actual first class.
Oh, with Rogue and everyone. Oh, I thought you were talking about the first class cast.
No, the first class. Like.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's the easiest way to do it without having Wolverine is if you use the first class.
Yes, and then it's going to be interesting because if we're going to keep this Quicksilver,
yeah,
which we never really seen another Quicksilver, there's only been 2, and obviously Evan Peters is the more popular one because he's in more movies because they just decided to kill him off. Of all the characters to kill off, you kill off Quicksilver.
And doesn't he have like healing ability?
Yeah. So it's been argued a lot that he's still alive because there's so many ways they can fix him. They didn't declare him dead until like I think they actually did declare him dead in the MCU, but he has healing abilities. There's ability to get him to the cradle pretty quickly. There's no way in hell that he's truly dead. I don't think so. I want him to be around, and that's just me being preferable. I'm not saying Evan Peters doesn't do a good job as Quicksilver because he does. Yeah. It's just it would be very different if he did.
Honestly, Evan Peters as Quicksilver is not that much of a dick.
Yeah. But like it's him and Hawkeye would have the best kind of quips. So I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do. It's gonna be very easy to bring the X-Men in now, because they have that ability, and it could be that Wanda brings them here. Like, okay, I think she even peeked into the multiverse. Be like, okay, there's more people like me, and because we're now officially given the fact that the X gene is in the MCU.
Yes.
And they're not just going to play them off like they did in the comics, try to erase the X-Men just to make the Inhumans popular, because we all know that went great. The Inhumans have the most injustice in the MCU. They were going to get a movie, then they got a shitty TV show, and then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. made them pretty popular, but they were still like not as popular because they got rid of that in like two seasons.
Yeah, definitely.
So it could be that they're gonna try to play that we're gonna get Secret Invasion, which we might even get Secret War as the next big MCU moment.
Right.
So I mean, that's a bit of a stretch though.
That's not till like Phase 6.
No, they're gonna do a Phase 8, bro. They're gonna run out of stuff.
There's so many things though.
I know, it's so crazy like how they're doing all this, and we're getting a lot of MCU stuff now. And a lot of the tie-ins with the TV shows because Disney Plus is so popular.
Right, and it's cool because of the fact that the TV shows are now becoming canon, basically because of the fact
they're doing a better job at it than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did.
Yeah, and the fact that they're doing basically what Netflix should have done with the Marvel shows, and that's combined. They mentioned it, but they never actually addressed it.
And they now got rid of them altogether. All those shows have been washed.
Well, except for Daredevil.
I think they're still going to have him play Daredevil, but his story doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So, and because we got Michelle Ali playing Blade, after he played Cottonmouth,
right?
And after what is the sister's name in Luke Cage? Cottonmouth's sister, because she played the grieving mother in Civil War.
Oh, that's right.
So once they did that and it was a completely different character, I think that's when they said, "Oh, we fucked up too much.
Yeah,
we're done here." So, next, I think we're gonna see Peter play a way bigger role because I don't think he's Pietro. I think he's Peter because he would answer to Pietro instead of just saying, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Or maybe he just goes by Peter because Pietro just sounds funny.
Pietro is a very weird name because Wanda has such a nice name, Wanda, and then Pietro. That doesn't sound super foreign at all. It's not Sokovian,
right?
So I mean, Maybe we'll get Michael Fassbender's Magneto come in at the end of the series.
Right.
Do we know if this is gonna have a second season? No, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I don't think it is. I think it's a one-off.
I don't think so.
It is pretty popular, so they might just give it a second season.
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
So I don't know. It's up in the air for what's about to happen. But what I do know is that in the next 4 episodes, they're either going to be the same 30-minute time frame, and then the last one's going to be probably 45 minutes to an hour, and then we're going to be done. And then it's linked to the Multiverse of Madness.
Right? It's going to lead to the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, this is all builds up to it. So I think that's why it's very easy to kind of bring this Quicksilver in and bring the X-Men, because after the multiverse, we might just get one Earth. At the end of it, they might pull a DC route, have a rebirth effect, have a crisis, and then it just all builds into one Earth.
Yeah.
And then we get the X-Men, we get Deadpool, we get everybody. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens next.
I'm excited.
I'm super
There's
excited.
so many things that could go into this, like so many different possibilities. You really don't know what's next. You really can't see this coming.
No, well, I didn't see this coming.
Right.
I really didn't. I'm like, when they brought, because they've been hinting at Quicksilver coming back since episode 3.
You don't name drop somebody and that's you're going to bring him back.
Exactly, or unless he's going to play some kind of role.
Right.
Right.
Especially now, all of a sudden.
Exactly. They made it very apparent. Like it was like the 3rd episode, they were like, "Oh, he was killed by Ultron," and then they have the 4th episode kind of just in between, and then he comes back at the end. So he's got to start playing a more active role coming in for the rest of it, and we're probably going to start. Maybe we will start seeing more X-Men kind of wandering around, and we're going to probably see more children, and it's probably all going to. She's probably going to make more children. They're all going to be mutants, and we'll get. Like you said, we'll get the first original class of X-Men. And at the end, it's Charles Xavier bringing them all into the X-Mansion, with Wanda included.
I guess only time will tell. We'll find out next week.
Dude, could it be next Friday already? But guys, that's all we have for Cinema Smoketography. Thank you for joining us again. To follow me on Instagram and or Twitter, you're going to look at the _hookahologist. To find this beautiful face on Facebook, you're going to look at her, Tommy Rodriguez. And to be sure to follow us on Facebook as well, under the Hookahologists, where we post our podcast, YouTube videos, and everything else like that. And be sure to follow us on Instagram. Every week I'm going to be posting the same thing, see what your guys' predictions are, and we'll share them here on the episode. So, could more than 2 people add into what they think is going to happen?
Hell, even leave a comment.
Yeah, tag your friends. Who knows? I want to know your guys' thoughts. So until next time, guys. Keep smoking.
Later.